Have you ever wondered what would happen if a conflict broke out between China and the Philippines? A question that might seem far-fetched, yet in today's geopolitical climate, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. Let's delve into this hypothetical scenario. Picture a world where tensions rise, alliances shift, and a conflict between these two nations becomes a reality. An unthinkable conflict, yet one that could send ripples across the globe, affecting political landscapes, economies, and most importantly, people's lives. The current geopolitical climate is a complex tapestry of relations, alliances, and rivalries. In this tapestry, the thread that binds China and the Philippines is strained, to say the least. These two nations, both rich in culture and history, find themselves at odds over territorial disputes in the South China Sea, a crucial maritime route that holds significant economic and strategic value. Now let's consider potential triggers for an armed conflict. These could range from a heightened incident at sea to escalation of political rhetoric. It's a delicate dance on a razor's edge, where one misstep could ignite a flame that engulfs the region. However, it's not all doom and gloom. While the prospect of a conflict is certainly concerning, it's important to remember that diplomacy, negotiation, and international law are powerful tools at our disposal. These tools can diffuse tensions, resolve disputes, and hopefully prevent the unthinkable. But what if a world leader had a warning about this potential conflict? A warning that could shed light on the potential fallout and the disastrous consequences not just for the involved nations, but for the world at large. What if President Emmanuel Macron of France, a leader known for his bold and insightful commentary on global affairs, had something to say about this? What would his warning look like? And more importantly, could it change the course of this hypothetical conflict? To find out, you'll need to stay tuned. And while you're at it, why not hit that subscribe button and give this video a like? It takes just 3 seconds, and it helps us continue to bring you insightful content that makes you think. So keep watching until the end for the answer. Stay curious, stay informed. Enter President Macron, a voice of reason in a world of chaos. Amid the rising tensions between China and the Philippines, Macron steps forward, offering a sobering perspective on the potential fallout of such a conflict. With his characteristic blend of intellect and diplomacy, Macron's warning is not one to be taken lightly. He paints a picture of a world destabilized, economies shattered, and an international community left picking up the pieces. He cautions that the effects of this conflict wouldn't be confined to the borders of China and the Philippines. In our deeply interconnected world, the ripple effects would be felt far and wide, from the bustling markets of Paris to the quiet cornfields of Iowa. But what is the crux of Macron's argument? It is the interdependence of nations in our globalized world. A conflict between China and the Philippines wouldn't just be a problem for these two nations, it would be a problem for us all. Macron's warning is a stark reminder that in today's world, no country is an island. And how has the international community responded to Macron's warning? With a mixture of apprehension and agreement. Many world leaders acknowledge the validity of his argument, highlighting the need for diplomacy and peaceful resolution. Others, however, view his warning as alarmist, arguing that such a conflict, while undesirable, is unlikely. But Macron stands firm in his conviction, emphasizing the need for preventative measures. He urges world leaders to not just sit back and wait for the storm to break, but to actively work towards diffusing the tension. It is a call to action for the international community, a plea for peace in a world teetering on the brink of conflict. Macron's warning is clear, but what could be the potential fallout of such a conflict? As we delve deeper into this issue, we're left with this unsettling question. What would a conflict between China and the Philippines mean for the rest of the world? The answer, as we will see, is far from simple. So, let's continue this journey together as we explore the potential fallout of this unthinkable conflict. A conflict of this magnitude would not just affect China and the Philippines, but the world at large. Let's delve into the potential fallout of such a conflict, starting with the economic impact. A clash between China and the Philippines could disrupt critical trade routes in the South China Sea. This sea lane is not just a passageway for Chinese and Filipino vessels, but a global highway for trade. Imagine a world where goods can't cross from the Pacific to the Indian Ocean or vice versa. It would be a spectacular blow to the world's economy, causing ripples that could be felt from Wall Street to the local markets of Mumbai. Now let's consider the political fallout. A conflict could destabilize the already tense geopolitical situation in the Asia-Pacific region. Other nations with vested interests in the area, such as the United States, Japan, and Australia, could be drawn into the conflict. This could potentially spark a larger, more widespread conflagration, the likes of which the world hasn't seen since the mid-20th century. And then there's the humanitarian fallout. The Philippines, with its archipelagic geography, could see a massive influx of internally displaced persons. Not to mention the potential for a refugee crisis should people try to escape the conflict by sea. The international community would be tasked with the gargantuan challenge of addressing these humanitarian issues amidst an already tense and volatile situation. Let's not forget the environmental consequences. Naval battles and potential land warfare could result in significant environmental degradation. The South China Sea, home to some of the world's most diverse marine ecosystems, could be irrevocably damaged. The fallout from a conflict between China and the Philippines would reverberate far beyond these two nations. The world would feel the effects in its economies, its politics, its humanitarian efforts, and its environment. The fallout could indeed be catastrophic, but why would this be a disaster specifically for China? The answer to this question is complex and multifaceted, so stay tuned as we unravel this puzzle in the next chapter. China, a global powerhouse, might not emerge unscathed from such a conflict. This statement might seem counterintuitive at first glance. After all, China boasts one of the world's most formidable military forces and the second largest GDP. But the possible fallout from a conflict with the Philippines could be devastating on multiple fronts. Let's start with the economic angle. China's economy, while strong, is not invincible. It's heavily reliant on global trade, and a war could disrupt these crucial supply chains. Additionally, the cost of war is astronomical. Military operations, rebuilding, and humanitarian aid can drain a country's coffers, causing an economic downturn. Moreover, China has been making significant strides in international diplomacy. It has spent decades cultivating relationships, building its Belt and Road Initiative, and positioning itself as a leading global power. A conflict with the Philippines could jeopardize these relationships, isolating China on the global stage. Sanctions could be imposed, trade could be cut off, and diplomatic ties could be severed. The repercussions could be long-lasting and deeply damaging. Then there's the risk of internal strife. China's population is diverse, with many ethnic, cultural, and regional differences. A conflict could exacerbate these divisions, leading to civil unrest and instability. The Chinese government's control could be undermined, and the unity of the nation could be threatened. At the same time, let's not forget the human cost. War brings with it loss and suffering, not only for the citizens of the countries involved, but for their families and friends around the world. The international community would undoubtedly rally to aid those affected, but the emotional and psychological scars could take generations to heal. The stakes are high and the risks are even higher, but what can be done to prevent such a catastrophe? As we delve further into this topic, we'll explore potential solutions and preventative measures. But one thing is clear: the cost of conflict is too high to ignore. And for China, the potential disaster could be far-reaching and devastating. The question remains, how can we prevent such a disaster from happening? Let's start with diplomatic solutions. Diplomacy is the art of conducting negotiations, forming alliances, and managing international relations. It's a delicate dance, one that requires patience, tact, and a deep understanding of the intricate dynamics between nations. Diplomacy could provide a platform for China and the Philippines to hash out their differences, to find common ground, and to build trust. This could be through bilateral talks, or perhaps even multilateral discussions involving other countries with vested interests in the region. Then, we have international organizations. These entities, like the United Nations or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, can play a critical role in resolving international conflicts. They provide a neutral ground for dialogue, mediate disputes, and promote peace and stability. Their involvement could be instrumental in diffusing tensions and fostering understanding between China and the Philippines. Peaceful negotiations must also be a priority. Resorting to force or intimidation can only lead to destruction and despair. Negotiations allow for a mutual exchange of ideas and the possibility of compromise, a chance for both parties to walk away with something, rather than a zero-sum game where one's gain is another's loss. And now, to answer the question we left you with in the first scene. What is the potential fallout of a China-Philippines conflict? A conflict between these two nations could have far-reaching consequences, disrupting regional stability, impacting global trade, and potentially leading to a humanitarian crisis. It's a sobering reminder of why diplomacy, international organizations, and peaceful negotiations are so vital. As we ponder these complex issues, remember to stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, keep wondering. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.